pessimistic protagonist can really ruin what could otherwise have been a fantastic film, and that is definitely the case here with Christmas on Honeysuckle Lane. This isn't the worst film ever, and for the most part I enjoyed watching it, but not enough that I would ever watch it again. But I think I'd still recommend it, but only just. This was released in 2018. It's a Hallmark Christmas film, directed by Maggie Greenwald, written by Caitlin D. Friars, based on the novel by Mary Beth McDonough. I do apologise. And for the most part, the narrative is interesting, if not cliche. But I've come to expect that from Hallmark, and in a way I kind of like it and find it comforting because I know what I'm going to be getting. So I won't give any spoilers, but we'll have a quick look at the narrative. So the description from IMDb is as follows. Emma returns home to celebrate Christmas for the last time with her siblings in the house they grew up in. After their parents' recent passing, the siblings reluctantly agree to sell the family home on Honeysuckle Lane. So I actually, coincidentally, just watched a film almost identical to this a couple of days ago, and I wish I could remember what it was called. It was a Hallmark Christmas film, and that was my cat. It's not called Meow Medora. It was a Hallmark Christmas film. It was about somebody's grandmother who had passed away, and they went to the house for one last Christmas. The name will come back to me. Very similar concept, and I think it's done pretty well. You know, we get to the house. Wow, the house is beautiful. We actually get some gorgeous long shots of the house, and we get to see it, the exterior in all its glory, and it is gorgeous, and the design of the house is just perfect for a Christmas film. It just looks so beautiful already for Christmas. Credit where credit is due. They did very well with that. I'm not sure where the exterior is, but if I can find out while I'm talking, I will. The narrative progresses really quickly. I will say the film is very quick. It's 100 minutes and it doesn't ever feel slow or stalled. It does have a really good pacing to it, and it introduces new elements and new characters at what I felt were reasonable times. And our protagonist, Emma, is having a little bit of a personal problem with a relationship, and that person decides to turn up out of the blue, and things don't go very well. There is a little bit of tension, but then there's something happens that causes her a lot of confusion, and I won't spoil it just in case you do watch it. And this is my problem. So I think that's nice, the fact that she's in a relationship, but they're having problems, and then he kind of comes to the house, and, you know, in an ideal world, he'd turn up, she'd fall into his arms, everything would be perfect, it would be a magical Christmas from the get-go. Obviously, the film needs substance, so there are continuing problems and conflicting thoughts in her own mind, and the narrative could have been great. But I find that while Alicia Witt, who plays Emma, our protagonist, does a great job at portraying those conflicting emotions and feeling quite desperate for answers, the character is written to be what I can only describe as the ultimate pessimist and wet blanket, that anytime something positive in the film happens, she looks like she's been slapped in the face with a fish. She looks miserable, and I'm not saying that that's a problem with the acting. That is completely, as far as I can see, how the character has been written and directed. And with a Christmas film, you need some lightheartedness, you need some magic and some fun. But she's miserable right throughout, and yes, her parents have just passed away, and she's having relationship problems, I get it. But nobody wants to watch a Christmas film that's going to drag your mood down to the ground. It needs to have balance, and there is zero balance. And I really didn't like her. As I said, very well acted, from what I assume she was directed and written to do, very well performed. But as a viewing audience, it's difficult, because it's not giving off the vibes that a Christmas film should, and that's a big issue. Would I recommend it? I'd say watch it once because it is quite pleasant. It does have its moments, not many of them, but if you kind of ignore Emma and ignore the fact that Emma looks depressed through the entire thing, I'd say you can probably get quite a bit of Christmas magic out of it. It's not too bad. It was apparently filmed in the historic part of Wethersfield, CT. Is that Connecticut? I believe that's Connecticut. I apologise if it's not. The film's okay. Christmas on Honeysuckle Lane is not the best film I've ever seen, but if you're looking for a Christmas film that you previously haven't seen, then I'd say it's probably worth your time.